Welcome back, fair fiends, to the ultimate horror movie monster elimination deathmatch to decide who is the greatest movie monster. In the blood-red corner, we have Pazuzu.
Strengths. Ancient and immense power. Pazuzu is a demon of immense age and power, a king of the wind demons, giving him capabilities far beyond that of a lesser demon or spirit. Psychological torment. His greatest strength is the ability to target the deepest faith, guilt, and emotional trauma of the priests, fathers Merrin and Karas, to weaken their resolve and make the exorcism fail. Superhuman manipulation. He grants the possessed host, Regan McNeil, superhuman strength, speed, and agility, allowing her to physically assault and injure others, despite being a young girl. Vast knowledge. He possesses knowledge of multiple languages, including those long dead, future events, and the personal histories of the exorcists, using this information to create effective taunts. Physical resilience. The possession is extremely difficult to expel, requiring the life and dedication of 2 priests to temporarily subdue it. Weaknesses. Vulnerability to faith. His primary weakness is the absolute, unyielding faith of the exorcists. When the priests recite the rites and genuinely believe in the power of God, Pazuzu is physically repelled and suffers pain. Tethered to the host, Pazuzu requires a human host, Regan, to interact with the world. If the host is destroyed or the exorcism is successful, he is forced to leave. The ritual. He is bound by the rites of exorcism. While the ritual is difficult and dangerous, it provides a recognized and effective means for him to be defeated or expelled. Pride and arrogance. Pazuzu is often shown to be arrogant, believing himself untouchable and above the authority of the church, which can lead him to expose his intentions or overplay his hand. Team allies. The demonic hierarchy, implied as the king of wind demons, he is likely part of a broader demonic hierarchy, though he acts autonomously in the film. Father Karras' guilt. While not an ally, Father Karras' intense guilt over his mother's death is Pazuzu's most effective psychological weapon and collaborator, making Karras vulnerable. The unbeliever. Implied Pazuzu thrives in a world of doubt. Any person or circumstance that promotes skepticism or disbelief in God or the demonic can be considered an ally in keeping the possession secret or allowing it to continue. Physical illness weakness. Pazuzu targets individuals who are already vulnerable. Father Merrin's failing heart is exploited, essentially making his physical infirmity an ally of the demon.
And in the corpse blue corner, we have the OG of horror, the zombies from George Romero's film Dawn of the Dead.
Strengths. Overwhelming numbers. The sheer scale of the pandemic is their greatest advantage. They multiply quickly and exist in massive, unrelenting hordes that can eventually overwhelm any fortified position. Indifference to pain injury. They are already dead, meaning they feel no pain, do not require rest, and will not stop due to non-fatal injuries, e.g., losing limbs, being shot in the torso. Unrelenting drive. They possess a singular, relentless drive to consume living flesh. They never sleep, never tire, and are incapable of being reasoned with, making them a force of pure, uncompromising hazard. Instinctual memory. The their us factor. They exhibit a vestigial, instinctual memory of their former lives, e.g., migrating back to the shopping mall. This human-like behavior can sometimes lead them to the survivors' locations. Weaknesses. Slow movement. Their most significant weakness is their shambling, slow pace, which means a single living person can easily outrun or bypass a small group. Low intelligence. They operate almost purely on instinct and low-level memory, making them easy to outwit using traps, diversions, or well-planned defensive maneuvers. They cannot operate complex tools or firearms effectively. Vulnerability of the brain. They are only truly killed by the destruction of the brain, a shot to the head or decapitation. The rest of the body is effectively irrelevant to their function. Lack of coordination. They do not communicate or coordinate their attacks. Their collective power comes only from their massive numbers, not from tactical planning. Team allies. The human survivors, unintentional allies. Their most effective ally is the living's internal conflict and self-destruction, e.g., the biker gang, the protagonists escalating infighting. The survivors' inability to cooperate often directly leads to the zombies' success. Environmental decay isolation. They are aided by the breakdown of all public utilities, power, communication, and the extreme isolation of the remaining human groups. Help will not arrive, leaving survivors exposed. The contagion, the reanimation force. The unknown force that causes reanimation, which can be a bite, scratch-induced death, or death from any other cause, quickly recruits all new corpses into their numbers, ensuring their constant growth. Ignorance of the living. Early on, the skepticism and confusion of the living, like the TV news team and the public, allows the initial outbreak to spiral out of control before an effective, unified response can be mounted.
So, let battle commence.
In a direct combat scenario, the winner depends heavily on the location and the objective of the fight. If Pazuzu is possessing a human host, like Regan, and is confronted by a group of zombies, the outcome is likely Pazuzu winning the immediate physical fight. Pazuzu's advantages. Pazuzu grants his host superhuman strength and agility. A possessed Regan can lash out with incredible force, move unnaturally, and withstand significant damage. Since zombies are slow and easily outmaneuvered, the possessed host could physically dispatch or evade a decent number of them. Zombies' advantages. The only true threat to Pazuzu's host is the infectious bite. If the host is bitten, they will die in turn, forcing Pazuzu to evacuate. However, Pazuzu's strength and unnatural movements make this hard for the slow zombies. Likely outcome, physical Pazuzu, the demon, escapes. The host body might be damaged or turned, but Pazuzu can simply leave the compromised vessel. Zombies cannot exorcise him. They can only damage the temporary body he is using. In a long-term existential conflict, the Romero Zombies have the overwhelming advantage. Pazuzu's disadvantage. Pazuzu's goal is to corrupt souls and destroy faith. In the zombie apocalypse, the sheer horror, chaos, and breakdown of society achieve his objective for him, making his efforts redundant. Why bother possessing one soul when all hope, order, and faith are gone? Zombies' advantage. The zombies don't care about a soul, a faith, or a ritual. They are a purely physical, biological hazard. They are immune to psychological warfare, taunts, or supernatural fear. They only crave flesh. They cannot be converted, possessed, or scared away. Likely outcome, apocalyptic, the zombies win. Their unstoppable, non-negotiable spread is an existential threat to all life. Pazuzu is powerful, but he is fundamentally a demonic entity focused on a spiritual war. In a world reduced to shambling cannibalistic flesh, the spiritual battle is over and lost. The zombies are a force of pure, mindless, endless consumption that no amount of demonic or holy power can stop without a definitive, physical countermeasure. Conclusion. If it's a quick brawl, Pazuzu can physically tear through a small horde using his host's superhuman strength. But in the grand scheme of an apocalypse, the Romero Zombies win because they neutralize Pazuzu's purpose and present a physical, unthinking threat that cannot be reasoned with or psychologically tormented.
So, the question comes down to numbers. Does the Romero lore allow for the numbers of zombies to get massive quickly?
The fundamental rule in the Living Dead series is the Romero zombie rule: everyone is infected. Reanimation on death. In Romero's canon, every person who dies, regardless of the cause of death, will reanimate as a zombie, unless their brain is destroyed immediately upon death. This includes people who die from a heart attack, suicide, a car crash, or any non-zombie related injury. The implication is that the something causing the outbreak, whether it's space radiation, a divine curse, or something else, has already affected all living and dead people on Earth. The bites roll. The zombie bite is lethal and delivers a massive infection that causes the victim to die quickly. Once they die, the ubiquitous reanimation mechanism kicks in, and they rise as a zombie. The bite itself does not transmit the zombification agent. It simply causes death, which is the trigger for turning. This rule is a key factor in why the apocalypse in his films is so unstoppable. It means that even fortifying a position only delays the inevitable, as any natural death inside the fort means a new enemy is instantly created within the walls.
So, if all the dead start reanimating around the world, there is no one localized start to the problem. All of the dead around the world animate together.
That is the core implication of the rule established in George A. Romero's films like Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. Since every corpse that dies, regardless of the cause, reanimates, the problem does not have a single, localized patient zero or geographical starting point for the outbreak of reanimation. Worldwide simultaneous reanimation. No central infection source. The crisis isn't caused by an infectious agent, like a virus, that spreads from one person or region to another. It's caused by a mysterious, ubiquitous force, implied to be something that permeates the entire environment, like radiation from a space probe, as hinted at in the first film, that acts as the trigger for reanimation upon death. Death is the trigger. Since the force or agent is everywhere, the moment a person dies anywhere in the world, they become a zombie unless their brain is destroyed. The global start. Therefore, the onset of the zombie apocalypse is simultaneous and global. All natural deaths, accidental deaths, and murders occurring around the world at that critical time would result in reanimation, leading to outbreaks everywhere at once. The chaos isn't spread by travel. It erupts locally wherever people are dying. This is what makes the Romero scenario so terrifying. There is no safe zone to which survivors can flee, as the enemy can potentially rise from any nearby cemetery, hospital, or fatal accident.
That would make them impossible to quarantine and hard to suppress.
Of course, there is the issue of whether Pazuzu would want to fight the zombies.
Interesting. Go on.
The idea that Pazuzu wouldn't want to stop the zombies is based on a few key points from the earlier analysis. Why the zombie apocalypse is a win for Pazuzu. Environmental decay, isolation, the breakdown of society, law, and order. This achieves a state of maximum chaos and despair. It provides the perfect environment for him, as order and faith are the things he fights against. The contagion, total death, the relentless, unavoidable march toward the extinction of life. Pazuzu's goal is the corruption and destruction of the soul. The zombie world eliminates the need for his personal effort. The outcome, spiritual darkness, is guaranteed by the sheer, physical horror. Vulnerability to faith. The only thing that can defeat Pazuzu is true, unyielding faith. When civilization collapses due to the zombies, the remaining human survivors are driven to cynicism, selfishness, and madness. Faith quickly evaporates in that brutal world, removing his only major weakness. Essentially, the Dawn of the Dead apocalypse is not a rival force for Pazuzu. It's a massive, non-sentient ally that does his dirty work, destroying hope and humanity, on a global scale, leaving him free to pursue whatever dark spiritual goals he might have in a world where God's influence seems entirely absent.
Well, that is an unexpected development. So, if Pazuzu doesn't fight the zombies, who wins?
Well, by virtue of prevailing, the zombies. They get to cover the earth without opposition.
And there you have it, fair fiends. Progressing to the next stage are George Romero Zombies. Do you agree or disagree? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Until next time, stay scary.